Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to build the ISDN 2601 final course project, which is a gesture controlled Nerf turret. In this project we will give you all the parts necessary to build it, from the electronics to the mechanical pieces. This turret can pitch up and down, yaw left and right, and it has a pusher motor that pushes the darts in through the back and out through the front. For now, let's move the turret out of the way and get started. We first start off with the motor drive cage assembly as shown here, which is already pre-assembled. We take our main body and then look for the arrow underneath and align the arrow pointing outwards to the arrow pointing outwards on the main body. Snap them together, take our 2 screws, note that we only have 2 screws, and screw them diagonally in either of the 4 holes. After screwing it in, it should look like this. The next step is to assemble the pusher assembly as shown here, then mount it to the frame. This part of the assembly includes a servo motor, a mounting piece, a rack gear, and a pinion gear. First step is to take the pinion gear and press it firmly into the servo motor. Next, what you want to do is to turn the motor as far anti-clockwise as possible. Next, we take this mounting piece, note the orientation with the 2 holes at the end over here. Match the pinion gear on the servo towards the 2 holes on the mounting bracket. Don't mount it with the bottom side, mount it on the top side. Once aligned, take the 2 included silver screws and secure the servo to the bracket. Once secured, take the rack gear and align it with the pinion gear. Make sure to leave about 2 to 3 teeth worth of spacing between the end and the contact point with the pinion gear. Next, take the mounting screws, which is 2 M3 size screws, and screw them into the 2 holes that are remaining. Once complete, you should have 2 screws that provide the track for the rack gear to slide back and forth. It should be able to slide back and forth freely without getting jammed. If your rack gear gets jammed, it probably means that you didn't turn the pinion gear all the way to one end as instructed. Now, to mount this assembly to the body, we take the short end and we align it with the hole at the back and press fit it in with the locking points. Afterwards, we should see 2 holes which we can then put our screws in to mount. Put 1 screw in the top and screw it tight. Then repeat the same for the bottom screw and screw it tight for a total of 2 screws mounted to the main body. And that's it for the pusher assembly. Next, we will assemble the pitch and yaw mechanism for the turret. We start off with the yaw mount, the pitch mount, and the yaw locking pieces as shown here. We also provide a servo motor for pitch and the encoder motor for yaw. We will start off by building the pitch mechanism. So we take our servo motor and align it with the notch in the mounting bracket. Align the cable side with the hole provided so that there's an exit path for our cable. Take the 2 included silver screws and secure the servo to the mount. Next, take the yaw bracket and our encoder motor and press fit the encoder motor into the mount. It should only be able to go in one way. Then take our locking piece and it should fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. Then push down and screw it. Next, take the 2 small screws and mount the servo with the bracket to the underside of the main body. There should be only one way to fit it in with asymmetric locking tabs. Next, take our yaw assembly and align it with the servo and press it in. Next, take the included silver screw and screw it in tightly. Once complete, take the ribbon cable and put the smaller end into the encoder motor. Next is the base block assembly, which we have right here. We take our 4 legs and mount them in one by one. Once complete, take the main body and you should see that on the stem there should be a flat edge which we will then use to align the stem with the mount, and it should slide in nicely when it's aligned. Next, we take the big screw and we screw it in, which I've already done so here. So we take our screw and push it in, then we take our screwdriver to turn the screw until it locks nicely in place. Once it's locked in place, it shouldn't be able to fall out easily. And that concludes it for the mechanical part of this project. Now we will move on to connecting the electronics for the rest of the build. First, take the 6-pin from the encoder motor and connect it to the board, then the 2-pin from the motors and plug it in. Then take the 3-pin servo header and plug it into the board. Make sure that the orange side is facing towards the microcontroller. Then take the other servo header and plug it into the board to complete the wiring of the board. Next, secure the control board to the frame by screwing in the 2 screws into the dedicated mounting holes on the main body. At this point, your turret should be mostly complete. All we need to do now is to add in the final finishing touches to complete the project. We take a piece of tape and we stick it onto the bottom side of the battery, then peel off the tab. Next, secure the battery to the bottom of the base block by pressing tightly until the tape sets. Finally, connect the included USB-C cable from the control board side into the Type-C port on the battery side. And at this point, your build should be complete, and all that you have to do now is to test it out and tidy up the wiring. We hope that you will have fun doing this project and that you will have high marks and great successes in your learning.